Bootstrap provides class button to create a button. We can use class btn on anchor element, button element and on input element. Bootstrap provides other contextual classes along with the class button to create the different type of button, such as we have class btn default to create a default button. We have class btn primary, btn success, btn info, btn warning, btn danger and btn link to create a primary, success, info, warning and danger buttons. Class btn link will create a link if it is applied on button or input element, so we can achieve a behavior of button on displaying a link. So if we want that our anchor elements should look like a button but behave like a link, then we can use bootstrap button classes over anchor element. So let's see in demo application. So here I am inside project responsive website demo form.html. So let's add a button element and add class btn and btn default, and let's save the changes. So now we can see that we have a default button. Now we can also provide different bootstrap classes. Instead of default we can provide bootstrap success class, so it will create a bootstrap success button with the green color. So here on the screen we have a success button. Similarly, we have different contextual classes such as btn primary, btn danger, btn info. So let's add code for that. So here I have pasted code for the different button for btn default, btn primary, btn success, btn info, btn warning, btn danger and btn link. So in the last we can see that we have a button element and we have added a class btn link, so this button will look like a link but actually it will behave like a button. So let's save our changes and refresh our page. So here on the screen we can see that now we have different buttons, btn default and btn primary button and success button, info button, warning, danger and a link button. It is displayed like a link but actually when I will click on this then it will behave like a button. Bootstrap also provide different classes to create the different size of buttons, such as it provide class btn lg to create a large button, btn access to create the extra small button and btn sm to create a small button. So let's apply these classes on these button. So suppose let's add a class btn lg on first button and btn sm on the second button, and btn access on third button. Now let's save the changes and refresh our page. So now we can see that our first button is a large button, second primary button is a small button and success button is extra small button. So we can change the size of buttons by using these classes. We can also create button element or a link element. So if I want to display my anchor element like a button, so we can use a class btn and other contextual classes on anchor element. So let's add that. So here I have added a anchor element with the class btn and btn success. So now here we can see at the last this is a anchor element, but on the user interface it look like a button. Bootstrap provides class btn block to create block button. So suppose if I want a button to take the complete width of the viewport, then we can create a block button. So let's remove all the buttons and create a block button. So instead of using class btn default, let's change it to class success, and let's remove class btn lg and add a class btn block. So it will create a block button. So let's save the changes and refresh all page. So now here we can see that we have a default block button. Now if we reduce the browser size, we can see that it adjusts its width according to the viewport, and it takes the complete width of the available viewport. Bootstrap also provides button.js. It enables button as a toggle element. So we can do many more with these buttons. So let's see in next video how we can use Bootstrap buttons to implement checkbox and radio controls.